There once was a young man who grew up staring at a mountain. His name was Elias, and he had lived all his days in the valley of Varin, a green place with gentle hills, soft winds, and just enough to eat. People came and went, though mostly went. Not by death, but by the mountain. Always the mountain. It loomed beyond the fields, tall and snow-patched, casting a long shadow at dusk. No one who climbed it ever returned. Some left notes, most did not. But they all said the same thing before departing. There must be something more. Elias never went. He wanted to more than anything, but he could never quite bring himself to actually do it. Maybe it was fear. Maybe it was the way the valley, though small, felt just familiar enough to make him doubt his discontent. Then one day a stranger arrived, an old man in a patched red coat who called himself a showman. "Looking for more?" the showman asked. Elias didn't answer. He didn't need to. The showman smiled and handed him a worn parchment. "This will get you there, to the other side." No one tried to stop him when he left. They rarely did. He climbed the mountain alone, through brambles and storms, through silence and doubt. The journey was long, long enough to forget the smell of Varin's fields and the faces of those he once knew. When he finally reached the peak, he descended into light. Elias stood at the crest of the mountain, boots torn, hands bloodied, lungs raw from the climb. Below him stretched a valley, green, with gentle hills, soft winds. A river he could have sworn he'd swum in as a child. He blinked once, then again, as if his eyes were playing a trick. Or perhaps the mountain itself had. Down he went, drawn by something he didn't understand. The people there smiled. They called their home Calaran. They offered him bread. A girl laughed and told him he had twigs in his hair. A boy no older than he had been when he first dreamed of scaling the mountain said, "It's not so bad here once you get used to it." Elias sat by the riverbank that night, watching the stars. Too similar to be coincidence, too identical to ignore. His hands trembled, not from cold, but from a question he couldn't yet form. The map from the shaman lay curled in his coat, now nothing more than scribbles. No landmarks, no truth. The mountain had not taken him anywhere. Or maybe it had taken him everywhere. He thought of the ones who'd left before him, who'd never returned. Had they come here? Had they settled into this mirrored life and simply never looked back? Elias wept, not loudly, but like rain against a window. Quiet, persistent, confused. He wasn't angry, not quite, nor was he content. But in that moment, something inside him gave way, not to despair, but to stillness. He had not escaped. But maybe he had arrived. The next morning Elias wandered through Calaran, still disoriented. He passed a market square, eerily identical to the one back in Varennes. Even the cries of the bread sellers echoed the same cadence. For a moment, he thought he saw a friend from home, but the stranger only gave a polite nod and walked on. That's when he met the old woman. She was seated beneath a crooked olive tree at the edge of the village, weaving something into a small wooden frame. He couldn't tell what it was. It might have been a net, or a tapestry, or something in between. "You were expecting more?" she said, without looking up. Elias blinked. "What did you say?" "The mountain," she gestured with her chin. "Everyone thinks they'll find a better life, find better people, on the other side. A few want adventure, most want escape." He hesitated and then asked, "And what do they find?" She looked up and met his gaze. Her eyes weren't cruel, but they were sharp. they find themselves again, just with more calluses. He now sat across from her, legs aching. Why is it the same? Because the mountain doesn't change what's out there, she said. It only changes you, if you let it. I don't understand, Elias said. She set down her weaving. Let me guess. You thought something was missing, something big. You hoped Calaran would be that something. Elias slowly nodded to affirm the woman's words. Everyone who comes here hopes the same, she said, and nearly all are disappointed. So what's the point? He asked bitterly. Why cross at all? She smiled, not unkindly, to see that there is no better world to find, only a better self to bring to the world they're already in. The words landed hard, not with a crash, but with a slow settling, like a gentle snow. Elias sat with them a long while. I think I need to go back, he said at last. She nodded. Good. But remember, it's not because there's nothing here. Elias turned and looked up at the mountain he had just traversed. And for the first time in his life, he knew where he belonged.